According to the CDC, 73% of the adult population of the US is overweight or obese. 73%. Now that's an alarmingly high number, and the figures keep growing. Now logically, we all know that we should just eat less and exercise more. So if this is so simple, then why is it so hard? Now in this video, I will give you my 5 mindset hacks for permanent weight loss. This is something that I've discovered as a competitive athlete and a biochemist. Plus, I'll also give you my lemon fat bomb recipe that I used to quit sugar for good. Now, our mind is a complex survival machine, and it's subconsciously tricking us to basically eat more and become overweight. Now, why is that? It's because we have an ancient ancestral brain that wants to keep us alive, and it has done so for thousands of years. Now, in our history, we always had a shortage of food, and there was never enough to eat. And we faced the real threat of starvation in 99% of our human history. And this changed only in the last 100 years, after the Industrial Revolution, when food became abundant. So you see, now we have an abundance of food options, and we can eat as much as we want, whenever we want. As you see, the circumstances have changed, but our mind has stayed the same. It still runs on an ancient survival pattern, and it still wants us to eat as much as possible so we don't die from starvation. Now, enough with the theory. What can we do to finally lose weight for good? So let's talk about the 5 mindset hacks to outsmart our brain and finally lose weight. Now, the first mindset hack is to break the shame-guilt loop. So let me explain that in a simple way. You see, we might think that by becoming overweight, we become a failure. So because of this false belief, we feel more and more shame. And what happens then? We start beating ourselves up about becoming overweight and how we got overweight, and then we create guilt. Now, guilt and shame are 2 very strong negative emotions that can change the entire chemistry of our brain. Now, here's the science behind shame and guilt and why it is causing us problems in our weight loss journey. According to the Foundation of Post-Traumatic Healing, when faced with shame and guilt, the brain reacts as if we were facing a real physical threat. Okay? And what happens then? It activates the flight or fight response. Okay? Now, the problem is that our brain starts to release cortisol. Now, cortisol is the stress hormone. And at the same time, our brain drops the levels of dopamine. Now, dopamine is the so-called happiness hormone. So, when we feel shame and guilt, we become more and more stressed and we become more and more unhappy. And if we're really unhappy and really stressed, what will our brain do? Our brain will want to do everything possible to get rid of this stress. And how does our brain get rid of stress? Well, it will give us those dreaded food cravings. And what will happen next is that we'll probably grab something tasty from the fridge, we'll binge on it until we're full, okay? And now, for a moment, we will feel happy and we will feel satisfied. But after a while, guilt starts to kick back in. And pretty soon, we'll feel so guilty that again, we've eaten too much, again, we are binge eating, okay? And what happens then? Well, the hell loop starts all over again. So you know what? Let's just break this hell loop, this cycle, this shame-guilt cycle for good. Now, there are 2 ways to break this cycle. One way is to become so pissed off, to become so angry that we change in an instant. Okay? We become angry and we just change our diet, we start a new lifestyle, and yes, we even start a brand new workout routine and we stick to it. Okay? Now, this approach does work for a small number of people. However, I suggest that if this becoming angry and changing instantly your life has not worked for you long term, then I suggest a second method. Remember this, you're not a loser, you're a winner. Okay, now bear with me on this and you'll see how useful this phrase is. And let me explain how it works. Now, here's a very important fact. According to the World Health Organization, 462 million people on the world are underweight. So they are underweight. They struggle to put on weight. So if we look at things from their perspective, we are winners, maybe even champions. Okay? Now, on a more serious note, just think about it this way. You've already accomplished the project of putting on weight. You've proven to your ancestral self that you built up enough energy reserves to last you for weeks, maybe even months. Now, that's not a small accomplishment, because there are, again, 462 million people in this world who wish they could accomplish this feat. Now, you might think that I'm pushing on you some type of a body positivity BS. I'm not. My goal is to help you lose weight, but we need to find a different route because the popular methods are failing. Otherwise, 73% of the US populations would not be overweight or obese, right? So that's just a number speaking. So now comes phase number 2 of your journey. Now you want to optimize the amount of energy reserves that you carry. So now it's time to start project number 2 and get in the best shape of your life. You see, the idea is that you go from success to success. There's nothing to beat up yourself about, nothing to feel ashamed of, nothing to hide. However, it's time to climb the next mountain peak and you'll have all you need to do this. Now you see, with this mindset hack, we've eliminated guilt and shame. You won't need to binge eat yourself to feel good. You already feel good, and that's the key. Now that brings us to mindset hack number 3. No one event makes you a failure. Question: how many times does a baby fall when it learns to walk? Now, if a baby falls once, would you consider the baby a failure? Should the baby just quit walking, quit this walking thing and just stick to crawling all his life? Well, of course not. Okay? So if you happen to binge once, don't stress it. We are looking to reduce the average number of times that we binge eat per month. So now let's just take a look at the reality of things. So out of 30 days, there will be 10 days that we feel great. 10 days that we'll feel so-and-so, right? In the middle. And then there will be also 10 days that we feel like shit, that we feel terrible, okay? That's just the reality. So on those 10 shitty days, we have the highest chance of binge eating. Now, if we can reduce our binge eating from 10 to just 7 per month, now we are a winner. Now we've already won. That's a progress, okay? Even if you would just reduce, even if we would just keep one binge eating session per month, that would be progress, okay? And this is very important. We want progress and not perfection. And this brings us to mindset hack number 4. Set small, achievable goals. Yes, you heard me right. In contrast to the popular motivational speakers who want you to set huge goals for yourself, I recommend the exact opposite. And I know this sounds strange, but this strange advice comes actually from the battlefield, so to speak. I've been a 3-time national kickboxing champion. However, when I was starting out, when I was going into my first training, my trainer did not tell me that one day I could become a champion and I could go to competitions and so on. No, all he asked of me is to try to stand firmly on my feet and keep my hand up and just make one step to the front and one step to the back. He was encouraging me and even congratulating me when I was able to make a good step to the front and a good step to the back. So these were really small goals, really small victories. But you know what? We were able to build from one small victory onto another. So what was important here is that I got the feeling of becoming a fighter. I got the feeling of becoming a successful athlete, yet I was just stepping to the front and to the back. What we are after is the feeling of victory. And that feeling is what will keep us going forward, okay? The goal was a simple task, something that was in my control. So here's a suggestion. Before you create a huge New Year's goal of losing 30, 40 or 50 pounds, just set a small goal. A small goal that is within your control. Because let's face it, our weight is not always in our control. Our weight can fluctuate, but the process of getting to our ideal weight is in our control. Okay, so let me give you a very simple example of a habit that you could implement. Set a small goal of drinking 1 glass of water every day just when you wake up. Now, do this every single day, and this will help you start the day right, and it will actually even reduce the cravings for sweets. Studies have actually shown that the leading cause of sugar craving is actually dehydration. So with a glass of water the first day in the morning, you already are winning. So can you drink a glass of water in the morning? Of course you can, it's simple. With this, you're getting automatically closer to your goal without stress. Because we don't just want to lose weight fast, we want to lose weight for sure. And for that, we will rely on weight loss systems, habits, and not ambition and not on willpower. Now, if you're serious about losing weight and want to take the first step, you can go ahead and download our free keto diet plan, and as a bonus, you'll also receive 10 delicious slimming recipes. Now, the download link is in the description of this video. Now, let's take a look at the final mind hack when it comes to losing weight. Mind hack number 5. Replace, don't eliminate. So when I was trying to quit sugar, I was able to not buy sweets and avoid eating sweets impulsively for a while, okay? But once the sugar cravings became too strong, I found myself going to the store and buying 5 candy bars and at the same time binge eating all of them. So here's part of my system that helped me quit sugar, okay? Now, I always keep in my house healthy alternatives to sweets because I cannot really stop my sugar cravings all the time. And because I can't stop them, I need to redirect them. Now, this is, again, has actually killed all my sugar cravings, and it does not spike my blood sugar levels, and it can actually put my mind at ease so I can feel relaxed and don't have those cravings anymore and just continue my day. Okay, so I call this the fat lemon bombs. So you just eat 5 pork rinds and a half a lemon. Now, the pork rinds should not be too salty or sweet. And let me explain how does this work, and let's go a little bit to our chemistry lab. And you see why this is so important. You see, when you're eating something sweet, your saliva will become slightly acidic. And what will happen then, and we were testing this in the chemistry lab with PA strips. It's a very simple experiment. I can tell you more about it in a different video. But the point here is that for our body, it makes a lot of sense to use something sour after eating fat, because that acidity, the higher our acidity is, the easier the fat will be digested. Instead of eating sugar to get the acidity up in our mouth and in our gut, we can squeeze just a couple of drops of lemon. Now, of course, you don't need to just squeeze the lemon in your mouth. You can just squeeze the lemon in a glass of water and drink it. That's much more enjoyable. Okay, now there's a lot of information in this video, and let me just summarize it so it's very easy to understand. So here's what we learned so far. 1, our mind tries to constantly trick us to eat more and become overweight. That's our mind's way of making sure that we survive. 2, we need to break the shame-guilt cycle. 3, to do that, we need to see ourselves as a winner, since technically we are a winner. 4, set small, achievable goals. 5, replace and don't eliminate. Use my lemon fat bomb recipe to replace your sugar cravings. Now, as I mentioned before, if you're serious about losing weight for good and you want to take the first step to get in the best shape of your life, then I can help you. I can help you take the first step, and I've also prepared for you a free keto diet plan that you can download for free below this video. Okay? Now, when you download it, you'll also receive 10 delicious slimming recipes as a bonus from me. Okay, now go ahead, just check out the download link in the description of this video and enjoy the recipes. Now, before you go, I do have one more question for you. Now, what's your biggest challenge right now when it comes to losing weight? Please write it in the comments, because I want to know exactly what you're struggling with, so this way I can address exactly those issues in my next videos. Now, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you found it helpful, just share it with a friend. Oh, and if you want to watch more of my videos, I prepared for you right here, another video that you can watch. Enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.